What we're going to do in this video is begin our rough cut. I'm pretty excited. I've been wanting to work on this edit for a long time. I'm not only excited that the project worked out well in my eyes, but I'm excited for all of you to give it a shot as well. So I'm going to begin by talking about how I like to edit, a little bit about how I go about the process, and then we're also going to share with you how I utilize Final Cut in the shortcuts to do simple edits as well. So let's get right into it. So again, on the left here, if we click on our library, which is on our hard drive as well, we will double click on our timeline and that will open up down here. So when I edit, what I like to do typically is do a process of elimination, so to speak. So I think about the edit as an entire puzzle and then I start putting the puzzle together. One of the great things about editing is that you can make mistakes and you can try things out. So if you want to try out a clip, try it. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. That's the beautiful thing about editing. So what we're going to do for this project is we're going to take all the footage that we think we want to use and throw it into our timeline. It's not like it's a 5-hour interview that we have to condense into 1 minute. So what we're going to do is just import all the footage onto our timeline. So if we look here, we can see that we are at about 10 minutes and 13 seconds. That's all the clips together. So we have to take out 90% of what we see currently on the timeline. So right now we're already getting somewhere. And the first step is to just create the best rough cut. So when I'm editing, I like to edit for a few hours, go out for a walk and take a break. That's just what I do. So I might be doing that throughout this project. Of course, we're going to speed up things as well. So what I'm going to do first is take out and remove everything I know I don't want to use. So instead of always going over footage and working with clips that I know I'm not going to use, you want to take that out. If there's a clip you don't like, get rid of it right away. It makes everything a lot easier. That's what you're doing with editing. So these screens down here are going to be great for audio levels. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. A couple of things you want to know first is zooming in and out. So if you hit Command minus, that will zoom out. And then if you hit Command plus, that will zoom in to the timeline. That'll be very important because right now we're looking at, a 15-minute timeline. We'll close this. If we zoom in, you can see that if we bring it all the way to the left, then we are working with 16 seconds of footage. So again, what we're going to do is just remove all the clips that we know that we're not going to use. This is a great shot, but for me, I don't think it supports our story in exactly what I want. We also know we have a lot of footage, so we're going to remove it. So right now I want to talk about markers. So what I'll do is hover over an area. If there's a shot I like this one, we're going to hit M and that will create a little marker. So if I zoom in, you'll see this little purple kind of dot. And we'll double click and then here we could write what we want with this clip. For example, add sound. Or you could put add sound and titles. And then you could also change the colors and then make it so you could, make sure that you go back and complete it. And then you could also add different colors. So you can add different markers in a sense. What I like to do for the first rough cut, and again, we're just going to right click and delete. We're just going to put an M on the clips that we really do like. We can kind of go through it a little bit and I like from left to right there. That's kind of nice. And again, we're only going to be using a couple seconds from each shot. So that's just to give you an idea. And again, we're just going to remove everything that we don't like. And this will make things much easier. If you want to cut a clip, what you're going to do is hit B and that will open up a blade tool. So if we zoom in on this clip, this part's okay. So you can see he's picking the eggplant right here. So right here it's pretty good. What we'll do is just click here and then we'll hit A. So A will bring you back to just your mouse and then we're just going to click and delete. So now we have the clip starting from here. So he picks the eggplant and we'll hit the B, the blade, cut. So right here we're on the shoulder rig and we're moving in. So what we're going to do is match cut that to eggplants falling in the studio. That's my vision anyways. So we're just going to delete the first one. Now we don't even have to look at it. We made up our mind. That's what it's all about as well. You want to make up your mind. And again, we can only use a minute. All these shots right here is already a minute. So what I'm going to do is go through the rest of the clips and then we'll see where we're at. Hopefully we'll be at about 5, 6, 7 minutes. That would be nice. So what you're going to do is continue with the editing process. You're just going to keep removing everything that you don't need. So use that blade tool, keep chopping away at the edit until you reveal the final project. So I'm finished going through the field shots and now we're at the house shot. So this salad shot was actually probably one of the most difficult ones. I just found that it didn't work out well. It just kind of got messy, so we're probably going to use one of the better ones from the beginning. So I guess we basically have one or two okay shots here. And again, we are eliminating everything we don't like. So yep, so we'll go probably from about here to here. So there we go. So I found the one that I think works best. Probably this part right here. And maybe some things will happen during your shoot that change. There's so many things that can happen in video. So we're going to continue to reduce the project until we get closer to 1 minute. If we're a little bit shorter, we could do things to add or to take away as well. We need to get much closer. And I'm liking this one the most. So Studio 1, we'll put a marker on. This will keep as backup. That's really nice. And then 8, 8's nice too. But again, I don't like the way it hits each other. It's cool, but I already know 7 I like the most. And then for these falling, that's okay, not the best. So there we go, let's go with this one. So now I have the 3 shots that I like. It wasn't too bad. So now if we look, we are at 3 minutes and 15 seconds. So we took out almost 60% of the entire project, so we're doing good. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna show you how to add a length. And what we're gonna do is just take a clip like this one. We're gonna hit Command C, we're gonna copy the clip. We're going to drag our cursor over and we're going to hit Command V, and that's going to create a gray space. See that? So again, you're going to copy, just bring it over towards the dark here and paste, and then just delete the clip. Then you have this gray bar. And then what we could do is just make this gray bar 1 minute to give us a rough estimate of how long we have. So we want this to end at about like 1 minute. And we're going to drag this so it's exactly 1 minute on the dot, okay? So this is gonna be basically our beginning to end here. And then what we can do now is just look at our footage, and then we can start bringing things and putting it on top of the gray bar there. And we'll begin to build our edit. So what I'm gonna do is continue the process of going through the clips. Now we are starting to identify the flow and how we want the project to feel. So we're really showing the products here. And the way you do that is you go to the top right here, and then you're just going to go to transform and scale in. So now we have this. Yeah, it's a little bit of mess here. I don't really like this as much. So it's all about this flow, the tempo. I like that. That's pretty good. So that's this shot. We have these 3 peppers right here. And then we have the nice cut in. So now he's picking tomatoes, and then we have the tomatoes. Then we get to the salad. So let's get into the tomato shots. So these are the 3 tomato shots right here. So we're just going to bring these 3 and just put them around the area. Okay, and then we have the tomato and the salad after that. Okay, so we'll just keep condensing this. So if we look at our original footage, here he picks tomatoes. So I wasn't a huge fan of the shot, but it's the only decent one that we had. So we're going to use it. In all the other shots, he's picking, putting in the basket, and then you see it in the studio, or in this case, this is our way to get the tomatoes in the salad, right? So boom. I kind of like that the hands come in there. It really flows nice. Not sure what you all think. Maybe we could cut from this to him just ripping this one out. Not sure. We'll try it out. So what we're doing now is getting closer to understanding the feel. So again, you want the clips to begin to match now. So if a shot comes in where a hand is moving a certain way, then you need the next clip to have the hand in the same spot. So you want to think a little bit more about continuity in that regard. So what we're doing specifically here is we are taking the clips from the right that we like, and then we are going again to the next step in reducing those clips even further. So once we reduce those clips, we end up with the shot that we really want that suits our 1 minute project on the left side of the timeline. And you want these to flow well. So for example, you want the hand to match what's happening here. You don't want the salad being, just not turned and then her hands moving in the other shot. It has to flow nice. So even here, boom, just have the tomato slam a little bit. So the hand should be like dropping like this. Moving up a touch. So like starting to move up like this, right here. Yep. All right, so the next one is just shot of the farmer, then the tractor. And we're way under time now. And again, we're gonna extend it a little bit. And again, we're gonna show you what we can do with that. So here we're gonna keep this shot. So we have the farmer on the tractor, something like this. So maybe we could show this. So in here we kind of have, him driving by. And you really want to remember the story, what it's about, what's happening here. So maybe we could reintroduce this shot and then find our final one again. So I'm thinking this one. And then that will be kind of the final shot. And that will be the longest one too, right? So here you'll hear the voiceover, Bouchard Gardens, from her field to her home. So that's going to be our first rough cut. What we're going to do next is go into our music and then really narrowing down our first edit. So we'll see you in the next video.